Hey everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel where we do all sorts of creative things, and today is no different. Now, if you haven't watched my April plan with me and bullet journal setup, I'm going to link it because that's kind of the context you need for this video. Whenever I post any sort of monthly setup, I always get a ton of comments from you guys asking for doodle tutorials and how to draw the specific theme. And in the past, I have done mini tutorials on Instagram where I briefly break down the step-by-step of specific doodles, but I thought for this month we would switch things up and do it in a video form, specifically because I did get so many comments from you guys asking for it, and because I know that this month it was a little bit more intricate in terms of the doodling style, so I thought it might be more helpful for you guys if I gave you a more in-depth step-by-step on how I personally doodle clouds. Hopefully this helps you out. Maybe in the future I'll do more of these companion videos, so whenever I post a plan with me, I'll also post the corresponding doodle tutorial. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in. But anyways, I'm sure you guys want to get right into it, so grab your pencils and let's get drawing. I'm going to start off by showing you the more simple version of my cloud doodles, and then we'll move into the more detailed ones later. With my pencil, I quickly sketched out an oval just to roughly map out the overall shape of the cloud that I wanted, and then I went in with my U shapes all around. The trick with these U shapes is to vary the size, so as you can see, I did some small ones, I did some large ones, I did some going more deeper into the oval and some popping out. And this variance is what makes your clouds look more interesting and fluffy and more dynamic. Something to note is that for these simple cloud doodles, I pretty much did a continuous line with the U shapes. As you can see, I didn't lift off my pencil, I just wanted the outline, and that gives you a very clean cloud shape. Later on, I'll tell you how I change things up. But for the most part with these simple ones, I just do a continuous line all the way around. Next, I used my fine liner to follow the shape of the bumps in the clouds within the clouds, just to add some more details. I used about 2 of these inner outlines on the larger bumps and 1 for the smaller bumps, and I didn't do this for every single one. This next cloud, as you can see, I'm continuing some of the bumps within the clouds just to change things up a little, and then I'm continuing to add these little marks and lines within the clouds, following along these curved shapes. There isn't really a formula to it, you guys can play around with your clouds, but I tend to add these little detailed lines to the larger bumps and wherever looks empty. I wanted to draw a couple different versions of these simple clouds just to show you guys that every single cloud is going to be different, and that's a good thing. For example, for the first cloud, I didn't draw anything within the center, but for the last 2, I did. And all of the curved lines and the little detailed marks are different on every single one. After I finish outlining my clouds with my fine liner, I just erase the pencil marks with my eraser, and your clouds are complete. So these clouds I tend to use on my weekly bullet journal spreads just because they're quick and easy and I don't need to worry too much about the details. As you saw, pretty much it was a continuous line and then I add the details after. I wanted to show you guys some common issues I tend to see with cloud doodles. This is just my personal opinion. The first thing I see a lot is people who use very flat, uniform shaped bumps, which I find doesn't look as good as bumps that vary in size and are more bumpy, more curvy, concave. I don't really know the proper terminology, but next thing that I see a lot is people who use very tiny bumps. Again, I find that mixing in the smaller bumps with the larger bumps really adds some impact to your clouds. And then finally, another thing that I see a lot is people who are stuck to the same oval-shaped clouds and repeat the same shape over and over again. Don't be afraid to play around with more triangular-shaped clouds, make your clouds divot inwards a bit more or pop out a bit more. It really adds dimension, especially when you're drawing multiple. Now that you guys are cloud drawing pros, I'm going to show you guys the more detailed, complex version of these cloud doodles, and this is essentially the style that I drew my April 2018 bullet journal cover in. So as you can see, I started out with triangle shapes. These triangle shapes tend to give your clouds a more realistic look. Not that I'm trying to create photorealistic drawings of clouds, but I am going for a more complex, detailed look, so I went with the triangle shape to go along with that. And I'm basically following the same rules as these simple clouds, you know, mixing in the smaller bumps with the larger bumps, but the main difference is that it's not really a continuous line. As you can see, I lift up my pen about every 3 bumps so that I can restart the line on top of the previous bump. Another thing that I did was layer the clouds on top of each other, so it looks like there's 2 clouds, but they're colliding within each other, which is different from the previous ones where we just drew them singular. And again, this is a more realistic version of what clouds do because clouds go on top of each other and it's not really a singular entity. Since these clouds are a lot larger, as you can see, I drew a lot of the bumps within the center of the clouds, and it just ties everything all together. Now I am going in with my little detailed line marks within all of the bumps. With these larger, more detailed clouds, it's nice because there are so many different options of places that you can put these lines. You can put them more to the left of the bump, you can fill them in the whole semicircle, or more to the right. I tend to switch things up, but the main thing is to follow the curvature of the bumps and to draw about 1 or 2 lines within each bump. And again, you don't have to do every single one. I think if you did every single one, it would look a little overwhelming. But I do like the look of them, so I like to draw quite a lot. I also wanted to throw out there that the main way that you can improve your cloud doodling skills is to just doodle them a lot. As usual, practice makes perfect. And that's actually what's nice about doing monthly bullet journal themes. I find that my skills for drawing the particular bullet journal theme are always greatly improved by the end of the month because I have drawn them so much throughout the month. So really, practice makes perfect. Go doodle your clouds, guys. It's your homework, assigned by me. I wanted to throw in this extra segment where I show you guys other styles and versions of cloud doodles because I know that my version of clouds is very particular. So you can do them extremely simple with a flat bottom. Another style that I like is using these little spiral curly cues to create the bumps of the clouds. It gives it definitely an interesting look. Another thing you can switch up is the method of shading. So I started out with my basic cloud shape like how I normally would doodle it, and instead of drawing the curved lines, I did some cross hatching along the bottom to give it some more depth. These are a couple more versions of the clouds with these spiral details in them. For one of the clouds, I added in the spirals more sparingly, and for another one, I made them a bit more wild and varied in sizes. The next style is what I would do if I wanted a more sketchy, illustrative look, maybe if I wanted to do some watercolor. So I hold my pen very loosely and sketch out some clouds, again with the flat bottom because that gives you the realistic look. And then finally, this is a very, very stylized version, but you just do a bunch of spirals of different sizes and it ends up looking pretty cool. What I love about drawing clouds is that there's really no wrong way of doodling them. It's just all up to your personal preference. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and doodling with me. Hopefully you have created some beautiful fluffy clouds. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, you can click that bell button down below so you never miss a new video. And if you're craving some more art inspiration, you can follow me on my Instagram at AmandaRachLee. That's it for today, so keep doodling and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone!